In this lesson, we're going to look at the Laser SFX. This isn't written on the score, and it's quite interesting to create, quite complex. We're going to walk through some interesting kind of synthesis techniques and some interesting ring modulation techniques that you can employ on this track. Firstly, let's look at when I'm hearing this happen, okay? And remember, this is only what I've heard. It's not on the score, so you will need to listen to the song over and over just to make sure that you get all of these, okay? Same as the last lesson when we was talking about the riff, I tend to create placeholders first and then I fill those placeholders just by right clicking, create empty MIDI region, and then just create our little placeholders on the track. And as you can see, I'm hearing this in 5 different places. It is a different sound to the SFX, the original wind sound, and I pulled that up here because in the original tutorial I only had this first bit, and since then I've kind of added the rest of them for you guys to have a look at. So I'm hearing this laser effect in 5 different places, and the notes that are being used, I'm using the B note. Because it's the end of this first phrase, I'm actually using the B note. Sillily, I didn't check to make sure that was the same for all of them, so I might have to just go back and just check that that is the right chord note for these. But certainly in this pre-chorus, I'm using the B note because that's the same note the chord is on. How this is created, I've had to kind of create this sound all by myself on this one, and I think you'll probably have to do the same. I think you'll find it very difficult to get this kind of laser gun effect, but it's okay to create. So I went to the ES1. Feel free to use any of the others, but the one that I'm using for this is the ES1. The reason I'm using this is because of this sound here. It's predominantly noise. Okay, this whole sound is predominantly noise. So if you look at this, I've turned this oscillator to noise. This one is down to this kind of triangular oscillator, and I've turned it from the original 4 to this 2, which is a pitch setting, okay? The mix is very subtle. I'm using most of the sound is mixed to this noise envelope, this noise oscillator, and I'm just putting a little bit of this triangular filter in there. I've had to adjust the resonance and adjust the cutoff to get a high pitch kind of frequency shrill thing. And this is where all the noises come from. The sounds that go that's what I'm getting here. This is the sound that I want. The important thing is it kind of sounds like a reverse sound. And if you want to make a reverse sound, come over to the ADSR envelope, turn everything down, so turn the decay down, the sustain down, the release down, and just turn up the attack, and you get this kind of sound, and that's what this really needed. So what I've got here is noise, which is kind of this sound going, and then I'm getting the attack going. Okay, so that's my initial sound. Let's hear what we've got so far. So if I just take the, and I had to loop this quite a bit to get this right. So let's just press play. I'll turn it on so you can hear it better. Okay, still needs a bit of work. I'm not 100% happy with it, but the technique is there for you to look at. Here's the actual original, so see what you reckon to theirs. Now theirs, you can hear there's I've still missed out those high frequencies. I think I may even layer this with another instrument just to get those high frequencies on top of it as well. So I am missing some of the sound, but predominantly the actual sound of that kind of that fuzz sound, that noise sound is there, but I am missing the higher pitches. And how I've managed to kind of get some of my high pitches is by using a ring. It's actually a ring modulator, or a ring shifter is what this is called. I've set it up to this phrasing vocal as my preset, and this is kind of pulling out all of those high frequencies and giving it a bit of modulation, which kind of gives it a bit more movement. If I turn this off and have a listen to what I had before the ring modulator, and here's with the modulator, and you can hear it's pulled out those high frequencies. Off. Okay, ever so slightly, and I can manipulate that even more. This is what I've got so far. Now, what else have I done? I've also come in and I've tried to get those high frequencies by boosting this, and it's kind of a dull sound as well. So I've just taken out some of these frequencies around 1K to get that sound. It's quite low in the mix, so I've pulled it down in the mix, and I've also put it off to the right speaker ever so slightly. It did need some reverb, and it also needs a bit of delay. For now, I've taken the delay off because the ring modulator has taken care of a lot of that delay, but I'm going to have to go in again. As said previously, I probably am going to have to kind of layer this with another sound. So all I will do with this is press the duplicate button and then find just another sound that I can just put on top of it. And that's quite a good technique that you can use to get that going. So you will have to do lots of listening just to make sure you get that right. Let's just play it with my track again, just so you hear where I'm at so far. Like I say, it's halfway there, but I need to put a bit more in. So I'm definitely missing those high pitches there, so I might just add to this tutorial later just to make sure I get those high pitches. But that's it for me now. At least you've got the notes that you can add to the score. Add these extra SFX notes in as well, and I'll see you in the next lesson when we start looking more at the mixing side of things.